Trucker Steve here. Thank you for viewing this video. So today on a post was put out by Trucking Made Successful. This is one of the best on YouTube. Great weekly information about the trucking industry. The latest post was titled Self-Certified CDL Schools, the Fast Track to Disaster. Most of the information from this video was from Freightways. It's an interview they did with Steve Gold, 160 Driving Academy CEO. So some of the key points, I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree just about most of what was on this video. A little disappointed, but let's get into it. Just hit the key points. You can see the video by just going to Trucking Made Successful and check it out. Key point, traditionally, certified CDL schools, they have more rigorous training, quotes Freightways. They are properly state licensed CDL schools. There are about 2,100, they say, and they provide comprehensive training programs, according to Freightways. I disagree. Then they go on, then there's the deregulated path, receiving just the bare amount of training, the minimum training from one of the 32,000 self-registered training providers on the federal registry. Okay. Look, everyone, when they started the registries around 2022, everyone had to go and get on that database. Every school, whoever wanted to be on it. It was all self-certified. Just sign up and put on. No one's checking your qualifications. So everyone was a self-certified CDL school at that time. As soon as you went on the registry, you're all self-certified. I don't care if it's a state license or not. Does being a state licensed CDL school make you a better school than the one who's not state licensed or accredited? I say no. There are some damn good schools out there that are not accredited CDL schools. And there's a lot of those 2,100 schools that are accredited that are just as bad. And there's a lot of good CDL schools out there. There are a lot of good ones. So he's missing the point. This is not right. Then she goes on to get into the interview with Steve Gold, Freightways interview with Steve Gold. So he's being interviewed, and we start out with she says, Driving Academy, which is a legitimate CDL school, providing 160 hours of training. So it's a legitimate school. They provide 160 hours. Most schools provide more than 160 hours. Come to our school, we'll get you out in 160 hours. Look, 160 Driving Academy is basically a pretty good organization based out of Chicago, and they just started CDL schools everywhere. And I'm telling you right now, not all their schools are good. They know better than any other CDL mill, some of them. But it is a good organization. And when they have bad apples within the organization, you usually try to get them out. So they do their best. And yes, I worked for 160 Driving Academy for a short period of time. And the particular school I worked for was not a good CDL school. Okay, just had to say that. Usually I don't do that, but just got to be honest. And when I told them why I was leaving, they did make every effort to make some changes at that school. So they did right. But that's why I'm saying 160 Driving Academy is a good organization. And I enjoy working with some of the people in there. And there's a lot of good points in there. So I'm not, it's just that all you have to do is look at the reviews. Go to your 160 and just type in the reviews. You're going to see good reviews and you're going to see pretty bad reviews. It's pretty consistent. So they do have a lot. They got over 125 schools, and a lot of them are pretty darn bad. Some of them have terrible equipment. And they just do the minimum amount of training, just like they try to say what a CDL school mill is. So Steve Gold, quoting Steve Gold, he goes on to say, when the feds came in, they created the self-certification database. And you can register to become a CDL trainer at the federal level. You don't have to be licensed in a state. And that applies to everybody, just not those 32,000. Whoever's on a CDL school, they all are part of this database. Then he goes on, or she goes on, or I'm not too sure Steve goes on. So there are 32,000 registered on the federal training provider who can provide training for CDLs. They are self-certified, which created the term CDL school mills. Once again, they all self-certified. Just not, every one of them are self-certified. A CDL school that provides minimum or inadequate training, just enough for the students to get through their CDL, get their license, just enough. So you bad-mouthing the ones who are not. So I'm going to tell you right now, at 160, I don't really want to say this, but at 160 Driving Academy, when I worked there were some students or a student that was receiving, they would not train that student, had bad instructors. So I left, went back to the school where I was first working at, and that student came along with me, and I trained him at a different school, got his license. And now he's a driver for Amazon. And at another school, self-certified, state license, accredited school, it was a bad CDL school at the time. The training was horrible. Took that student, took him to a non-state licensed, non-accredited school, and they trained him how to drive. He got his license, but he had to go to a non-state license. The problem is not the school, excuse me, it's the federal government, FMCSA. Politicians got involved. Entry-level driving training program was good, but then comes another administration, which is going to keep on happening. They say, hey, we have all these immigrants, which we're talking about, all the accidents, coming in, how to get them jobs. So what did they do? There's too much red tape, too hard to get the license, and they had to make it easier. They destroyed the entry-level driver training program. You don't see no alley docking. Pre-trip, still, 150 items to inspect. Let's get it down to 50. All the students are self-certified. They go to FMCSA website. They set the students up for testing, and FMCSA made it very convenient for them. They left out the word, is this student proficient in all skills? It's not in there, so schools just set students up for testing. These are state licensed CDL schools doing just what every school when that registry is doing. Not all of them. Once again, a lot of good CDL schools out there. So many students are being tested and hardly can barely back up. If you're not that good and you need a lot of extra help, a lot of these students are not getting it. It's a crime what's going on with some of these with some of these schools, licensed CDL school, accredited CDL schools, what they are doing to some of their students. It's a crime. Take the money, and they doing whatever with Trucking Made Successful, what she's talking about on here. They're doing the same thing. They're all doing it. So we can't. I tired of separating them. Yes, there's schools that are in there for the profit only. But it's the federal government who set up the loopholes and enable these schools to test students who are not proficient in skills. Because government officials wanted to cut the red tape and make it easier. So they had to water down the entry-level driving training program. It's all on my YouTube channel, The Broken CDL Trucking System. I try to put all those videos together with other YouTubers, put their on the playlist, put their stuff in, talking about the broken CDL trucking system and the broken CDL school system. It's all on there. I asked Trucking Made Successful, please look at my site. You listen to Freightways, and let's say Steve Gold. He would love to get some of these non-accredited, non-licensed CDL schools out. And what would that do for him? Give him more students. 125 CDL schools across the country. Yeah, it'll get them a lot more students. Get all these CDL schools are competing with some of these schools. Yes, there's a lot of schools that should never be on the registry. It's a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all. And they ought to get the facts straight. You know, when they trying to divide this up, what is a CDL school mill? What's that if you're accredited and you're state licensed, that makes you better. It does not make you any better. A good CDL school is passionate CDL instructors. A school like Apex Trucking Institute, who teaches to a higher standard. CNS, I think it's in Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania, or Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They teach to a higher standard. So forget about this, trying to separate, licensed and unlicensed, whatever. A good CDL school is just a good CDL school. All you have to do is look at my site, Trucker Steve, CDL instructor. Look at the comments from CDL students. See if a lot of them, the comments are, be talking about, they're not getting the training. And these are state licensed CDL school. So that is a false statement to go around here and say, just because you on from one of the credit 2,100 schools, you getting a better CDL training. It is not true. Okay, I rattled on too much. I'll be having some more videos. I'm just going over this, and it gets a little upsetting, when I see people just talk. Steve Gold, he would definitely never come out and say, we have to, how about self-certified, put on the FMCSA, put on when we set up a student for testing, that student must be proficient in all skills before we can set them up for tests. How about saying something like that? They all look at their best interest, and I understand it. I get it. But the truth needs to be told. If I'm wrong, I think I'm right. What do you think? See you in the next run. Be safe out there.